Listen closely to what I am about to share with you. The heavens are shifting in your favor at this very moment. What you have longed for, what you thought would never arrive, is being released right now, not tomorrow, not in some far-off future, but now. But you must do your part. Approach this message with faith, with anticipation, and with a heart ready to receive, because if you dismiss it, you might close the door just when your miracle is knocking. In this very instant, something has changed in the unseen realm. You didn't see it with your eyes, you didn't feel it with your senses, but something has shifted spiritually, something that will transform your environment, your days, and your journey. I have spoken, and I have fulfilled my word. I announced it, and I now confirm that your miracle has been set into motion. This is not a distant hope or a promise for someday. It is real, it is present, and it is now. If you have faith and refuse to doubt, if you open your heart and believe, you will feel a wave of peace wash over you. A burden you didn't even realize you were carrying will suddenly lift. The weight that followed you through the night, that invisible pressure you couldn't explain, will fall from your shoulders, not because you've done anything, but because I already have. I am not speaking of a mere possibility. I am declaring this as an accomplished truth. You are not here by chance. I led you here, guiding you with invisible threads, whispers in the chaos, and signs you might have missed, yet they all brought you to this very moment. Every word you hear in this message has been carefully crafted by me. There is no phrase without purpose. Every second you are here is part of a divine plan. Take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and open your heart. What you are about to receive is not a message from man, but a revelation from my throne. Share this word with someone you love, because just as you are being touched, others need to hear what I have to say. Do not isolate yourself. Stay under this mantle. Continue to receive from the abundance I have already prepared for you. You know how long the days have felt. I don't need you to explain the weight of what you've gone through. I was there with you in every moment. I stood with you in the silences that spoke louder than any words, when you thought no one was watching. I saw you when you wore your strength like armor in front of others, while I quietly observed the pain you were carrying in your heart. There are times when you walk into a room and forget why you're there, when you drive with no destination, just hoping the movement will calm the emptiness inside. Yet, still, you rise each morning, care for those around you, solve the problems, and hold up what is crumbling, because you know that others cannot afford to fall apart, and you are the anchor that keeps them grounded. I see this, and I honor it, but I did not call you to merely survive while pretending everything is fine. I called you to live fully, and that is why I come into your story today, not as a visitor, not as someone waiting for permission, but as your God, the one who formed you, the one who planned every moment of your life before the very first began. Today, I come to break the chains you've grown accustomed to declare freedom where you've only known resignation. I am tired of seeing you search for joy in places where I have already decreed liberty. I no longer want you to spend another day surviving while pretending that everything is okay. I want you to rest in my peace, to stand in my truth, and to embrace the fullness of what I have given you. You belong to me, and when I release something, nothing, not even hell itself, can stop it. Today I have released your miracle. I have spoken it. I have done it. And I am watching it unfold as I speak. So stay here. You not ignore a single word. This moment will not come again. Do not close this page thinking you can return later. This could be your last chance to change, the direction of your life. Stay. Listen, what is coming is even deeper. My child, listen closely, because what I am saying to you now is not just comforting words or temporary relief. What you are receiving is not by chance. It is supernatural. It is fulfillment. It is my will revealed at the perfect moment. Why now? Because the time I ordained for you to step into what is rightfully yours has come. It wasn't meant to be before, and it won't be after. At this very moment, the heavens have opened, the answer has descended, and your miracle is on its way to you. Yes, you've walked through deserts. I know. You journeyed through barren lands where nothing seemed to bear fruit, where everything you touched withered, and you believed it was punishment. But it wasn't judgment, it was preparation. I was shaping you in silence, in trials, and in darkness. Those nights you cried, feeling abandoned, were the fertile soil where I planted the seed of your future. Though you couldn't hear my voice, I was there, cradling you in every tear, strengthening the parts of you that felt shattered. And now, the flower of the promise has broken through the soil of your waiting. What seemed dead before, what you couldn't see, is now beginning to sprout. A new season is being born for you, a season where honor will replace the shame you once carried, where those who criticize you will now admire you. Where you lost, I will restore. Where you were hurt, I will heal. Where you only knew struggle, I will bring peace. You may not have all the answers, and I'm not asking you to. What I ask of you is to believe in the one who holds all the answers. I don't just want you to have faith in the miracle. I want you to trust in my character. I am who I am, the same God who stood with Moses, with David, with Esther, with Mary. I am with you now. Do you know how many times I've forgiven you without you even realizing it? How many times you were on the verge of falling, and you did because I placed my hand there? How many paths I closed to protect you from destruction? How many doors I opened to move you forward? What you are experiencing now is no coincidence. It is liberation, and I have decided to reveal it to you. I have chosen to make visible what I kept hidden for so long, to show the world that I am your God, that I am with you, and that no one can touch what I have blessed. Whoever comes against you is coming against my promise. Someone left. I allowed it. Something stopped. I aligned it to unfold at the perfect time. It wasn't a delay, it was part of the plan. If up until now things didn't make sense, understand this: I was saving it all for this moment, when you had no human strength left to understand that everything would come from my hand. When you see it all come to pass, you won't boast. It won't be about your effort. It's no longer about merit, it's about grace. It's no longer about chasing after blessings. It's about trusting that the blessing is chasing after you. It's no longer about doing it alone. It's about walking under my word. Today, I reaffirm that what is rightfully yours will not be taken. It will not be swapped. I have sealed what I've prepared for you, and no plan that opposes it will withstand the power I've just unleashed. Your story bears the mark of my hand. It is surrounded by my glory. Do you know that exam you're stressing about? That call that hasn't come through yet? The debt that seemed too overwhelming to handle? That son or daughter who turned away from everything? None of it has escaped my notice. Not a single detail has gone unnoticed. I am at work in every part of your life. While you are listening to this message, I am already moving on your behalf, because there is no prayer prayed in faith that I disregard. You prayed even when you were too tired. You served even when it hurt. You cared for others even when you needed care yourself. You thought no one was watching, but I saw every moment, and I wrote it down in my book. Today, I am rewarding you with the answer you thought was lost, the answer you had given up on. I am faithful, and everything I promise you is still intact and will come to pass. You have endured more than many realize. The smiles you wore were not always signs of happiness, but shields hiding the battles you fought internally. You stood strong when everything around you pushed you to give up. You remained faithful when there was no expectation to do so. Constant in your weariness, silent in your tears, when none of it went unseen by me. Every step you took, every ounce of effort you made, I witnessed it all. Nothing was invisible to me. Tired, every decision made in the midst of doubt, every act of kindness you sowed into barren ground, I saw it all. I kept track of every effort, and I have used all that you've done as the foundation upon which I am now building the fulfillment you deserve by my grace. I never abandoned you, not for a single moment, even when the paths you walked seemed empty. I was going ahead of you, even when the answers did come. My will was always at work. I was orchestrating everything your eyes couldn't yet see. I know there were days when you questioned if all the effort was worth it, wondering if your prayers were being heard, or if the heavens had turned silent. But the truth is, I was working behind the scenes, creating answers that needed more than just words. I was shaping your heart so that when the fulfillment came, you could receive it without fear, pride, or guilt. That season of brokenness that seemed endless was not the end for you. It was the soil in which I planted something eternal. I didn't leave you to perish there. I placed you in that soil to take root, because what is now beginning to bloom in your life is not just a moment. It is a transformation. It is not a fleeting emotion. It is a season, and it's not just temporary relief. It is a victory that carries an eternal name. You walked through the darkness with a flame that seemed to flicker against the harsh winds, but you didn't let it extinguish. That's why today, I breathe new strength into you, rekindling the fire you kept burning despite all logic. I know the price you paid. I know the sacrifices you made in silence, the decisions you made out of love even when others didn't understand. The times you denied your own needs to care for others. You might have thought those were small or unnoticed gestures, but in heaven, they were seeds sown in holy ground. Now, it's time for the harvest, not according to the speed of men, but according to the eternal rhythm of heaven. The scales are tipping in your favor, not by your own strength, but by the weight of my faithfulness. The enemy whispered so many lies, telling you that it was impossible, that it wasn't worth it. He planted seeds of doubt in your mind, trying to convince you that you were forgotten, that all was in vain. But I was speaking to you too, even when you didn't recognize it, in that verse you found unexpectedly, in that embrace when you needed it most, in that song that made you weep without understanding why. I was speaking to you through the details because I knew your heart could still hear me there, and because with me, the smallest things carry immense power. The moment has arrived. You didn't attract this. I have decreed it, and nothing can undo what I have already set into motion. What once seemed closed is now opening. What once seemed lost is being restored. What appeared broken is being healed, not by your strength, but by my Spirit. Everything you need has already been provided. I have been preparing you, not just to receive, but to sustain what I am giving you, because what I am releasing now will not be temporary, fragile, or taken away. It will take root deeply and bear lasting fruit. This will not be a brief visit. It will be a permanent dwelling. It will not be a half measure. It will be a complete transformation. There are things you don't yet fully understand, but it is not your job to have all the answers. It is my work, and I am perfect in all my designs. What appeared to be chaos was actually part of a divine plan. What seemed like interruptions were in fact alignments. Every so-called setback was protection, every detour was a direction, and every loss opened the door to something greater. You were waiting for a miracle, but I am doing so much more than that. I am renewing your identity, restoring your soul, and writing your story. Everything you have experienced up until this moment has been intricately woven into a plan that surpasses your understanding. These were not random events. Every twist, every unexpected change, and every difficult season fit perfectly into a higher purpose. They were not mistakes, they were strategies. I have been at work behind what seemed senseless, moving in ways you cannot see, but which are shaping your reality. When I craft a destiny, I do it with intention, not on a whim. So many moments have shown you your own vulnerability. You found yourself without clear direction, without answers, and without certainty. But in those moments, when you felt the weakest, my strength rose up within you. When your voice grew faint, my word remained firm. While your plans crumbled, my plans stood unshaken. It wasn't your strength that carried you this far. It was my constant mercy. That mercy followed you when everything else withdrew, wrapped you in its embrace when no one else did, and healed your wounds even when you didn't know how to ask for help. Now, a new chapter begins, and it will be unlike anything you've experienced before. This time, you won't walk by mere effort, but by revelation. You will no longer depend on the doors others open or close, because I have already prepared paths that only you can walk, assignments that only you can fulfill, and provisions that can only be explained by the direct intervention of my hand. It will be undeniable. You won't need to convince anyone. What will be seen in your life will speak louder than any argument. Because what I place upon a person shines even in the darkest times. What once seemed like it needed human approval to unfold will now be released without permission from any earthly authority. I will not do things in the usual way, nor will I repeat old patterns. I am doing something fresh, something that will not be a copy of anything you have seen before, because you were created for the unique, not the generic. And every moment that seemed like a delay was actually a necessary period of isolation, so that you wouldn't be tainted by others' expectations. I did not call you to repeat the stories of others. I called you to create a new one. Don't wait for validation from those who couldn't see your journey. Don't measure your calling by the reactions of those around you. What I am doing in you doesn't need human approval to be real. There are things that only my spirit can reveal, and what you're about to live does not need anyone's approval to come to pass. You carry an eternal seal, one that I placed upon you, and it does not rely on merit but on purpose. I didn't choose you because of your perfection. I chose you knowing your struggles, your limitations, your breakdowns. Even then, I chose you not for what you can do, but for what I will do through you. You've had seasons where your voice felt insignificant, where your words seemed to vanish against invisible barriers. But now, I will make every word you speak carry weight, every prayer hold power, and every step you take command authority, not by force, but by my delegation. What you are about to receive will not be just for you. It will be a blessing to many. I do not multiply to store, I multiply to send. What I am multiplying in your life will reach far beyond what you can imagine. Everything that once seemed stagnant will suddenly begin to move, But it won't be chaos, it will be acceleration, because the waiting time has passed. What once appeared distant is now drawing near with strength. You will look back and hardly recognize the ground you walked on, because I will transform everything. Even the place of your deepest pain will become unrecognizable due to the glory I will bring. Not because your history will be erased, but because your story will now be filled with my glory. There is not a single moment in your life that has escaped my sight. Every season, even those that felt devoid of purpose, carried my invisible mark. While you were counting the days waiting for answers, I was orchestrating events that hadn't even happened yet. While you searched for immediate fixes, I was building eternal foundations. Because what I am designing in your life is not temporary or shallow, it is deep, transcendent, and lasting. I am not building something fragile. I am building something firm, something that will not crumble when the winds of opposition blow. The exhaustion you felt was not in vain. The weariness that made you question if it was worth it was the sign that something greater was being birthed within you. It was difficult to move forward, not because you were failing, but because you were carrying seeds of destiny, and seeds are heavy when they are about to break through the earth. That's why there were moments when everything seemed dense, complicated, or silent. But in that silence, I was speaking to you in a deeper language, the language of the Spirit, the language of my will. I do not work on the surface. I work in the deep. And that's why I removed layers you had long forgotten, causing you to look within, face old thoughts, and break mental chains you had accepted as part of who you are. I didn't do it to expose you, but to heal you, because I could not give you the new while you were still holding on to the old. I couldn't release the fullness of it to you while you were still carrying what was broken. You had to let go of old ideas, relationships, habits, and perceptions. And yes, it hurt, but it was the pain of transformation, not abandonment. Now that the essential things have been revealed, I can entrust to you what many have longed for but haven't had the endurance to handle. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being willing to be shaped, to surrender when it would have been easier to resist, to trust when it felt simpler to give up. That willingness has opened a door with no end. There is no turning back, because when I open, no one can shut. What I have opened for you is not just an opportunity, it is boundless access to my favor. Do not allow the doubts of the past to cloud the clarity of this present moment. Don't view the new through the lens of the old. What didn't work before is not a shadow that will hinder what I am doing now, because this is not a repetition of the past, but a complete reset. I've cleared your surroundings, redefined your path, and repositioned you in places where your voice will be heard, not because you shout louder, but because I have filled your voice with authority from heaven. Every step you take from this point forward will be filled with divine direction. Even the steps that seem small will have far-reaching consequences, because you are not walking according to human logic. You are moving with an anointing that shatters limitations. I have assigned you to things that go beyond what you currently understand. And though you may not see the entire picture yet, each day I will show you what you need not to control, but to live in obedience. My faithfulness has no expiration date, and the covenant I made with you cannot be undone by your confusion nor weakened by your mistakes. What I began, I will complete, and it will not be done halfway. It will not be lacking in any way. It will be perfect. The impact of this promise will continue to echo in your life, because what I have released is not contingent upon your emotions but is grounded in my unchanging nature. This will not stop now. The wheel has already begun to turn, and what once seemed immovable has been set in motion. Very soon, you will begin to see signs that will confirm that everything has shifted, even if at first it doesn't seem like it. Before your days even began, I had already mapped out your life, not a straight, predictable road, but a sacred journey filled with twists and turns that were designed to protect your purpose. I didn't prevent you from facing certain trials because I knew that through them, a strength would rise within you that you never realized you had. I didn't hold you back at every precipice because you needed to learn that even when you are on the edge, I am always holding you. For a long time, you watched others move ahead while it felt like you were stuck. You saw doors open for those who didn't appear to work as hard, and deep inside, you questioned if I had forgotten your name, your story. But it wasn't forgetfulness, it was strategy, because the place I am preparing for you is not designed for rushing, but for fullness. You weren't slow. You were being perfected. I was refining you like a precious instrument because what you are about to bring forth must be in harmony with my heart, with my truth, with my eternal purpose. This marks the end of one season and the beginning of something entirely new. You will no longer walk from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. You will no longer wait in fear, but will move forward in confidence. The time of suspended promises is over. Heaven's clock has set the moment, and that moment is now. Never forget, what I have decreed for your life cannot be undone. It is irrevocable. It is holy. It is yours, and no one can take what I have given to you.